Good morning from a very bright, very sunny, very warm, strangely eerie September Saturday summer in Peterborough. Right, firstly, sad news. Davina didn't make it. She looked as though she was recovering. That was only short-lived. We tried to stay buoyant, but it wasn't going to happen. The fitting continued. It then became just basically part of every time we saw her she was having a fit. Then she went into some kind of status epilepticus, almost like a continual fit. Cat were distressed, I were distressed, and that were it for me. No more. She's not, so he or she is not suffering anymore. So we dealt with that. Anyway, that's another story. On to happier times, because we still wanted a Kohaku, and we have tried other local businesses in the area, and we've heard so much about Adam Byer's. We had to go to Adam and Amanda Byer's and have a look at their Kohakus. We didn't know what to expect. Very difficult to ascertain how a business is set up just purely by watching a video. So we had a trip down yesterday to make a purchase. I hope you enjoyed the 10 in 10. A little bit of persuasion to get Amanda in front of the camera, but she did absolutely fine, so I thank you for that. So the next section after this is going to be little segments of our walk around Adam Byer Koi Farm. It might not make any fluid sense going from start to finish, but we just had to grab sections where we could. Adam and Amanda were just simply awesome. They were so good to us. But anyway, enough of that faff. Have a look at this. So we're going to have a little tour. Lead the way.
Okay, just watch your footing in this sort of area.
I will do. If the camera goes all over the place, it's because I've fallen over.
Males there?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I need to keep an eye on the
What's your footing?
Ooh. Back off, please. Yeah, 4 minutes past 3.
Can I leave that with you?
Yeah, I'm going to buzz off, yeah. In a minute.
Okay, this is our selection station.
Ah.
Over the gazebo that goes up over here. Right, definitely watch your footing rather than the camera, because it's not a public area, though we do take people through.
Yep.
So just watch your footing. There's a lot of trip hazards.
Okay. Oh my goodness.
So
Oh wow.
what we're looking at here are some of our males. Now, typically they would be residing in the next polytunnel along, which is a similar size to this polytunnel. That's our broodfish polytunnel.
Right.
But they're here on holiday at the moment because the tank. We had a problem with the tank that they were in. We're having to rebuild the tank, which I'll show you when we get round to that place. But so they're occupying this twin tank system here.
Looks like it's got poppers on it.
Poppy. So a number of people have called that fish poppy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a Benikikikiryu from the Genji.
Oh, what's going on here?
I don't know.
Oh, here. There you go.
You need to.
Need it, please.
No. Yep.
Yeah, so typically this is our growing on polytunnel.
You've always got the delicate feeders, and you've got the pigs that just go mental. There's some big fish in there, girl.
Yeah. And then these are more of our males. We brought some Kikisseries in as you can see in here, they're quite young.
Yeah.
They might be a variety we play with next year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sagi,
Very
yeah.
lovely. That is. Correction as well.
Yeah. Beautiful.
So these boys have had a very active summer. We've worn them out.
Tired, are they?
They are.
Good on you, boys.
Yeah. And you know, our brood fish are here. They look lovely, but they're not here to look good. They're here to sort of do a job.
Yep.
It's the same with the females next door. So you know, they get the absolute top levels of husbandry from us, and then over the spawning months, you know, they've got a job to do.
Yeah.
And we find that one of the reasons we have quite a few males, we always have to have backups.
Yep.
Not every male will deliver every year. So one of the things we do here is we optimise our parent sets. When we spawn fish, it's one female with usually two males. Sometimes one male, sometimes three. We spawn them on our main sets. We spawn artificially. So we're actually, you know, extracting the egg, extracting the milk, and then creating the combination, the fertilizer combination that we want. So we have to have multiple. We're constantly working on optimizing more female-male combinations, because sometimes on a year one that we need doesn't work, and we've got to have backups.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Kiku series is something to play with next year.
Good. Are you just trying to create variety? You're constantly experimenting all the time?
We are. It's a continual improvement program. And we apply that principle around a few of the aspects around Byer Koi Farm. So certainly in terms of the number one priority for us is the quality of the fish that we produce.
Yep.
And how that is targeted for different markets that we sell into. Okay. So that's our number one priority. Very close second is the customer experience that we provide.
Yep.
And we're continually trying to improve those two things. So on the koi side of things, around the top end quality, we are continually optimizing more brood sets in our Gosanki offerings. So we'll see when we go around to the females tank. You know, we've got five very high quality females. 3 of them have got optimized pairings with the males for. So we've got 3 of them that have won major champion awards. So their offspring have won major champion awards. So we've got 3, and I'm continually trying to optimize the other 2. Yeah.
Yep.
Each year I'll run sort of a sample spawning, so we'll bring through samples rather than, let's say, a whole pond.
Yeah.
So that we have resilience in the bad years, and we can still produce, let's say, the top end quality. And then in the mixes that we may provide, which is a different type of market, this would be like the little 2 to 3 inches that we were looking at in the sales room, also 3 to 4 inches, 5 to 6 inches. People are loving what we produce there, and for that we need a range of varieties. So over the last couple of years, last 2 or 3 years, we've developed our breeding in some of the non-Gosanki varieties, so that we can have an offering which would be really attractive to people who want to buy those sort of mixes.
Yep.
And what we found is that our mixes are becoming ever more popular. They're becoming ever more popular. And in actual fact, the Kiku series we were just looking at is again just another roll of the dice around creating another variant for next year. But equally, we have also brought in more brood stock, which is currently in the quarantine area in Showa and Kohaku. And it's been quite a few years since I brought any Kohaku parents, and I've already got 5 females. So this is going to be a 6th and a male. And these are really fantastic examples that will from different farms that will add to what I've currently got. So it'll give me some alternate genetics, basically. I always think about optimizing the brood sets as like the old game of Mastermind. I don't know whether anybody remembers it.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
So you have coloured pins, and one person behind a screen sets out, let's say, 8 coloured pins in a specific order.
Yep.
And then the other player can't see that order, and then they have, let's say, 10 goes to try and guess the order, and each go then the person who's set out the order tells them how many they got right and how many they got wrong.
Yeah.
But breeding koi, the way we do it, if you buy the best bin that we can from Japan, they are producing just incredible stuff. So we have to access that, their genetics as best we can. And then my job is to I'll have my best guess about what I think should go together in terms of males and females, but then it's basically solving that game of Mastermind.
Yeah.
So let me give you an example of that. In here, this is, well, predominantly Showa. There are a few other fish in here as well. So there are a few Kohakus, but the Showa's in here. These come from a female that we got via Mike Snaden of Yume Koi, and the female comes from Ueno. And we got her about 4 years ago, and in actual fact 3 years ago I produced my first sample from her, and I was sat right here basically with Mark Gardner, who we lost obviously earlier this year. Yeah. And we were selecting through the offspring that I'd had from that spawning, and actually on that day he really taught me a lot about, he was so into Showas, it was probably his favourite variety. He taught me a lot about Showa selection. But you know what we produced off that female in that year, you know, wasn't so great actually.
Right.
3 years later, and we produced this, which is really outstanding. This is probably one of the best ponds of yearlings that we've ever had. It's right up there. The quality of these Showas is really fantastic, and what you're seeing is a lot of open patterns on the red pattern. The red obviously looks orange or tan or like a mucus, like green type colour. That's what Showa red looks like at this stage. There are the different types of red for the different types of Showa. And then the many of these have great Motoguru and other Utsuri traits. So at this stage, it's like, I describe it as like a present that's gift wrapped. You know, like with the parcel, you've got the present inside, and then there's like multiple layers of wrapping.
Yes, yeah.
So, you know, the black is there, it's now been covered up, and over the next few years, that gift of the black pattern will be revealed, and that's sort of how I think about it. But this is an example of a female that's taken us 3 years, and then we've made a breakthrough.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Good work.
and you know, frankly, if we hadn't, you know, her time would have been close to being moved on if we hadn't made a breakthrough. You know, 3, maybe 4 years, a few different tries, and then we have to probably move that one on, and then bring something else in new, of at least the same quality, to continually improve what we're able to offer for our top ends, in the case of Gosanki, for our top end customers.
Good.
So we're just so excited for this tank. As I was saying, possibly one of the best tanks of fish that we produce at this stage. They're only 4 months old, by the way. Born mid-May, so we're now mid-September. They're 4 months old.
So when will these fish be available?
Well, this tank has got 500 fish in it, and the other 500 are available now.
Ah, right. Okay.
They're
There
in
you
the
go.
sales room. These ones we're looking at now, they're going to be grown on over the winter. Some of these will grade out over the next few months into our 6 to 8 inch mix and 5 to 6 inch mix. Many of those, the next selection is going to be pretty difficult. Very difficult.
So what have we got? What are we standing in front of now?
Yeah, so this is fry pond 5. We've got 6 of these fry ponds, and each of these ponds is about 30 metres by 14 metres.
Okay.
They're natural ponds. We have them lined, and we protect from herons with, you know, with the netting and so forth.
Yeah.
Which is essential.
And how deep are these? Are they all similar depth?
They are, and they're very shallow. 1, 2, 3 foot deep. Different parts of the pond, different depths.
And how many fry would you expect to pull out of these?
They're designed to produce 20,000 if everything works okay, and our record is 50,000.
Oh,
Amazingly, this year on two ponds, this pond in fact, we pulled out about 40,000, and we did the same on that pond over there with some Kohakus. So occasionally everything works. I don't know whether it's bang on or just super optimal, and the weather goes in your favour, and and the winds are aligned and all that kind of thing, and yeah, it's they can be very productive.
good.
But it's very easy for them not to produce very many at all. You could, if you get the timing slightly wrong, let's say for example when we introduce the hatchlings into the pond, rather than pulling out 20,000, which is what they're designed to do, you could pull out 200. Now, so if you get the timing wrong with introduction of the hatchling. So it took 4 years back in the day, or when we only had 2 ponds. This is right back in time. 4 years before I'd learnt how to use them in a way that I could repeatedly pull out 20,000. About an inch from the ponds, and that's essential. Koi are, they don't breed true, so these numbers may sound big, but in koi terms, that's still quite a modest number. And if we get a fish that could go to a show that maybe a 1 in 20,000, a 1 in 10,000, maybe a 1 in 20,000, maybe.
Yeah.
You do have to produce a lot.
Sounds like a guessing game.
Yeah.
Right. What we shall do next is a 10 in 10 with Adam. Hopefully, the other half of the partnership. 10 in 10.
We've gone for a mid-range colour. I think, you know what? If you produce dark ones, then this customers that come to the back, they'll happen to want lighter ones.
You know all about that.
If we produce lighter ones, and so this year I've gone for a mid-range.
Right. Yeah.
We'll see.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
But
Stop the odd one out.
Yeah.
Grab a bit of stuff off the surface to try and eat it.
So they're smaller. They've actually just had their second selection, and they were spawned midsummer. This is the output from our new female we called Oakley. She's a 105 centimetre Chargoy female. We're talking about her in the 10 questions aspect, and we're really excited about these.
Can I ask what you put with?
Kohaku males.
Okay.
So I put my biggest, most skilled spawning male Kohakus in with her. Our male Kohakus and showers are the best we've got. Male Kohakus that have had the longest, that I know do the business, and with a good success rate. That's what I stuck in, because when first of all, she's an older fish. She's 10 years old when we got her, 105 centimetres. When you spawn an older fish, it's there's a risk of there's a whole number of risks that are just larger than if you spawn a younger fish, let's say 4 years old. Particularly if she hasn't been spawned before. So the number one goal for spawning Oakley this year was that she spawned, and that she got through the spawning okay. So we left her to spawn naturally rather than artificially, and I use males that are good at spawning naturally. Some of the males, by the way, we get a better at it than others. I mean, putting it bluntly, and I put my biggest males that were better at it, just because she's so big, 105 centimetres. I actually put 4 males in. Usually you would put 2, but she's so big. I thought I need to put 4 in, because they've also, it's very important once the female starts spawning that all the eggs have to come out. Otherwise you can lose the female after the spawning. They did it.
Good lads.
Yeah. And thankfully some of the eggs were fertilised, very, very few as a percentage.
Yep.
But because there were so many eggs, and we devoted so much space to the rearing of the eggs to protect the water quality and so forth, we ended up with a full pond, and it took a lot of focus. But I left the spawning till midsummer, when we had the facilities here, and I hadn't my males had a chance to recharge, to be able to devote everything, the best of everything we've got, to getting her spawned, and it's worked.
Yeah. Excellent.
With those eggs, I filled up the spare space in the tank with some of these Yamabukis and the paratuners and so forth. Actually, yeah, there's some just really awesome shows in here. I just thought in a small shower, I can put them out. Like a tan coloured pattern, it's a very open red pattern, big one pointing at me, pointing at you guys. An open tan colour. It's got Motogiri, black at the base of the pec fins. This is a good sign. And with the showers, we're certainly more experienced with Kohakus and showers, but we have enough experience now with showers for me to understand what some of these clues are. Yeah. And in small fish like that, that's all I'm looking for.
Nice.
I put a lot of weight on the Motogiri in terms of what I do with the fish. Yeah. I will make a going on because I thought that would be one of our new varieties for this year. And we got very few Deutsch Karashis out. Now that was a huge surprise. What we did get out is a whole mixture. Now in this pond there are some Asagis and there are some Karashis which actually come from different spawnings. But we also got some very unique Deutsch non-metallic fish. Basically Deutsch Achievers, but with a pattern which runs along the length of the fish rather than a floating like pattern on the back. So I call them Deutsch Achievers, but because they're grey with a tan colour.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it.
I can probably, we've got some in the sales room. I can show you one up close if that's of interest. These are obviously what we're going on for the next sort of few months, but we were not expecting that at all. Now, frankly, it was lucky I spotted it when I was going through the fry. We go through the fry. We are an English Japanese koi farm, so we produce Japanese koi, but we are based in England, and we use the same. We take inspiration from the koi farming process that is used in many of the farms in Japan. There are hundreds of farms out there. I gather they all, there may be some similarities, and there are also some differences in how they go about things. So we're taking the principles, which are heavy selection, so keeping very few percentage, sifting down to just a very small percentage and giving them the best conditions to go on to the next stage, and then selecting down again. So that's what we do. When you're carrying out first selection, the fish may be 20 mil to maybe 25 millimeters long. Occasionally smaller, let's say just under an inch. And the patterns sometimes are very difficult to see. When you're breeding a Karashi and you're expecting to get yellow fish, I'm just really fortunate that I spotted some with that would look like Deutsch Sorogoi with a hint of something else, which is not easy to spot, and we kept them. And then we've got these Deutsch Achievers with the sort of the linear style pattern, and it's generating a lot of interest. I'm really happy. Unexpected output.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Isagis are new for us this year as well. So we're last year we bred Shisuis, and they've got a load of attention. Sometimes we put our genetic pairings together, and like with example that shower, that took 3 years or whatever it has been just to get the right pairing for that one shower. Okay, occasionally it doesn't happen often enough, but occasionally things just work on your first go, and with the Shisuis that we bred last year, it was one of those, and they went really well. Customers love them. We'll have a look at them in a minute. They've stayed really clean. They've got lovely blue back and a nice red colour and a real sharp edge to the colour pattern. So they've been great. And then this year we've bred Asagi. So last year was Shisui. This year we've bred Asagi. Yeah. And I think we might alternate it each year now.
Yeah, that sounds good.
These are all fish that we produced. most of these fish were bred last year. There's a few in here that were bred the year before. Okay.
The blue on them shasuis is striking. That is so bright. I don't know if I can get that.
So we've got lucky. The genetic pairing seems to have worked straight away.
Yeah.
And they're clean, you know.
Yeah.
You're not seeing darkness on them. And
Absolutely beautiful.
yeah, they're super chopped. Customers are loving them.
Yeah, okay. Nice little season as well.
Yeah. So for the weekend of the 4th of September, we brought all our new Nisai into the sales room. That was everything that was in this tank and everything that was in 2 other tanks. The best 50 or 60 fish, which isn't necessarily. We did release some of the better ones actually in September, because it's a great time for customers to pick up fish. But certainly 50 of the best ones have come into here, and we're growing them on until Christmas.
Yeah.
They'll become available on the 27th of September, only via appointment here. People need to book in. But the big Kohaku there, the 2 big Kohakus,
Yep.
they were spawned the year before.
Right. I've put
Yeah,
some
so
weight
that's
on.
an example, right, they're from the same parent set of the Kohaku you guys were looking at in the sales room. Sharky, we'll look at the female. So that's an example of a 3-year-old one, or 3 summers old one, Sansai, which is basically 3 summers old. Actually about 24, 25 months old at this point.
Yeah.
All the other Kohakus in here are actually from that same female, same parent set with the males, but they are 1 year younger. It gives you, it shows you immediately, that if you look at this 3-step Kohaku there.
Yep, see it?
Yeah. And it shows you straight away visually. You can see what our fish look like at the new site. You can see what the sharky fish look like as a Sansai, a good one, with the great skin quality. We were picking the fish out, and my comment, go with the one that go with the good skin quality, and you had a lovely 3-step pattern.
Yeah.
Because if the skin quality is there, then on that particular line, it's a canvas for the colour, and the colour, you'll get great colour performance over many years.
Guys, Debbie.
Oh yeah.
Dark. That's these pottery ones.
Right.
It's so unusual.
We've got a couple of Kohakus in here,
Right, yeah.
and this stuff with like a kind of like a wine colour red, or I don't know, that's how it describes to me.
Yeah.
So, and it's like a grey metallic for the background,
Yeah.
like a steel metallic colour. That's how we call it.
Yeah.
Okay, but still, with the great skin and the great lustre,
Yeah.
they've really caught people's attention.
Yeah.
And
I've just gone deep. The dark one as well, just coming up.
Chardonnay?
Yeah, it is, but it's got a lot more defined
yes,
scales, and the colour is just so rich.
thank you. So that's a darker coloured, like chocolate Chardonnay. There's another one there.
Yeah.
But where the skin goes around the scales, and you get this sort of I don't know what the right word is actually to describe it. It's not robing. It's not a vignette. It is and it's not Matsuba. But
Right.
it's a
it's
just a very attractive.
It is.
Very attractive, yeah. Fukurin. I think Fukurin is probably the best way to describe it.
Okay.
Yeah, of course, Fukurin.
We're going to feed some fish.
Yeah, goldfish spawn. They've always been very active since we got them.
Is that in your main pond?
No, it's the wildlife pond.
Okay.
But we've got all sizes from centimetre to, I think the biggest ones are probably a couple of inches now.
Right.
Then we've got shibunkin, a couple of butterfly goldfish and some normal goldfish in there, so God knows what we've got.
Right.
Yeah.
A little bit underneath all this,
Yeah, I can see them.
One.
all this stuff.
Yeah.
About 8 foot from me.
Yes, I've got them. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Might need to come. We'll wander around the pond. You can see them.
Oh yes, there's a load. These are there.
Mm.
If you go ahead, you walk ahead, because then you'll get. If they get moved, then you'll sort of see them first. Literally, just continue to walk straight. And There you go.
It's,
Quite a
it's
few.
as I say, as we're walking further and further, they're appearing.
When it's sunny, often they'll be at the shallow end, which we've just looked at, sort of basking almost, just sort of
There we go.
sunbathing,
Wow.
like a sunbathing. There you go.
And how many's in here?
We won't know until we harvest it. I'll whiz round.
I need to know to the,
I'll
the
take it.
10.
Yeah. I'll take. I'm hoping for 20,000.
20,000.
I'm hoping. We'll see. Fingers crossed. And there you go. Oh, they're good size now, actually. Almost ready for harvest. This thing will be quite a lot of stuff on this little
Oh yeah.
bucket you
Yeah.
see. There you go.
Yeah.
On there.
Just mind the sack.
You guys can pause there.
Yep.
You can see, Adam, oh, that's a fair old sized pond.
And from experience, it looks like a full pond. I reckon I'll be surprised if there's less than 15,
Wow.
and hopefully 20, which would be a full pond, or maybe even more. So the Kohaku that you've chosen, same, well, was reared in this pond last year.
Hey, there we go. Birthplace.
Yeah. And we keep the females in a separate tank so that they don't spawn until we want them to spawn.
Yep.
Doesn't always work, I think, but generally that's how we do it. That's Oakley.
Right.
She's 105. Now it's tricky to get the sizes in this tank. She's 105 centimetres. She was 94 centimetres a few months ago, but 7 years old. There's also another new female. Let's call her Opaline. Gosh, you've got to see the shine on her back. It's just amazing. But small fish in here are basically 80 centimetres.
Right. Yeah.
This is this new with the show. It's not new, but 3 years. We call
Yeah.
her MGS now. She's from UA now. She's just over 80 centimetres actually. Right. Where's Opaline gone? That's
that one.
One at the bottom.
okay, over
Okay.
here. Yeah.
Ah.
If I put a bit of food in, I can tell you she won't be far behind.
There's always
Now, this is
one.
the Deutsch Karashi that's given us all these really.
Random things.
Yeah. Here's Opaline.
Yeah.
Size like
come here.
that.
No.
It's bigger than my car.
Who's bigger than your car? Hello.
That's Rosie. That's the Kohaku mum of the few Kohakus we saw
Right.
when we were looking at the tanker shows. Right, there's Opaline. If you look at the shine on her back, if she gives you the opportunity, the food cream on her scales is just incredible.
Yeah.
It almost gives you like a pearlescence.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
It's so difficult to capture on camera.
Yeah.
And we got her from Koi Koi, Mike Hughes, expert photographer, and he said he was struggling to capture it on a camera.
Right.
And if
That
he
makes
can't
me
cap-
better.
yeah, exactly. What he can't capture.
Right. Yeah.
But he's really struggled with it. But so we spawned her this year. We have a great Rakashi line from our Matsue.
Look at the colours.
There we go. It's like a rainbow almost.
It is.
Almost. Yeah. and just when the sun shines, it really shows it. But we've got enough, like you can see a bit of it. And we've got a great Nakashi line from our Matsuo females. So because of that, and because the customers love them, when we bought Oakley, we also bought this. We called Oakley. There's only suddenly 1 metre long, 1 metre over, 1 metre long fish you can buy. She's not small at 94 centimetres at 7 years old.
Yeah.
I think at 6 years old, Oakley was, I think, 96 centimetres.
Nice.
So she, at a similar age, she's not quite as big as Oakley, but I think high potential.
Yeah.
This is Sharky, so this is the mum of all the Kohakus we looked at in the sales room, and also the mum of all on this side. That's it. In you go. Develop some eggs for us next year, please. We'll give her a good go next year.
Yeah.
And we spawned her this year successfully.
Right.
Well, when I say successfully, eggs out, she spawned well. I was really happy for her performance in the vat. We spawned her naturally, as I say, she's an older fish, 7 years old. So here's Oakley.
Yeah.
And she spawned in the first go. We got almost no fertilisation, and so we didn't rear the few hatchlings we got off her. But it's like she ticked all the boxes that we need. Yeah, that's it. Next year we get a fresh batch of eggs, and they'll most likely be viable. Like at that age, if they haven't spawned before, 7 years old, and look at the fukuin on Oakley. You know, a lot of the eggs may not be viable.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I think I'm pretty sure saying that's the biggest fish I've ever seen. I've seen them up to like 95, but never broken a metre.
And the head's just
That's massive.
Yeah. What ugly girl. You keep having.
Is that the eyeshadow one?
Yeah. Yeah. Still like the little one, but the one with the eyeshadow is very cute.
See the colour coming through.
Heavy the pattern. That one's quite nice as well. Still that one?
Yeah.
Here comes another one.
You're doing this on purpose?
I don't want to make it difficult. I just, you know.
Yeah. You don't want to make it difficult, but you just are.
Yeah. Well, you can see the range of patterns.
Yeah. I always try to look for one that's balanced. It keeps popping up every time.
It does, yeah. Yeah, so that and the little one still. Got another one. One more.
So as you can see, Dexter there, settling in well. Say hello, Cat.
Hello, Cat.
So this is the day after the trip to Adam Byer's. Very pleased with our purchase. One thing that we need to mention was family values, family run business. Adam Byer's is like your, what's the word, target to aim for. If you want to know what a family run business is like, just go see Adam Byer's. Family means everything. Anyway, we didn't get anything for free, so those joy destroyers out there, you know, we paid good English money to a good family business. The videos that you saw just simply don't do it justice. You have to go down and see the setup, make an appointment, and if you're lucky you'll get some behind the scenes views. Future plans are fantastic. I hope they go from strength to strength. They thoroughly deserve it. They've been through bad times, like many of us have, and now they're coming out the other side, and hopefully they're going to reap the rewards of the good times. So from Kat and myself, thank you very much to Adam and Amanda. Really enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay safe, 2 jabs, possibly 3, have a booster. Take care, goodbye.